There's this quote or joke that I often repeat to my mom, which says, I open my mouth and my mom comes out. And that's so true. There are many things that I've intentionally picked up from my mother, and some I'm not even aware that I've imitated them. But that just goes to show how far reaching a mother's influence is. And today, we're going to continue our devotional series on my book, Mothering by Faith, and we're going to study chapter 3. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, A Mother's Legacy. Welcome back to Mothering by Faith podcast, where we talk about mothering us unto the Lord from a place of faith, not fear. Hi, I'm Joyce of Faithmom Library, and I'm a mom writing in the middle of everyday motherhood. Yeah, I have my babies very involved in the filming process. Yeah, she's my director right now. That's why. Sorry for the very clumsy camera works. Please bear with me. So today, let's talk about legacy, the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, or a person's life. So specifically, a mother's legacy. Sit back. So, what's something your own mother has passed on to you? Okay, I'll give you a second. Okay, so my mother has influenced me a lot about specifically about intentionality. I remember because she's a teacher. I remember during one of her meetings with the parents of her students, she said that in the eyes of a child, love is spelled as Time, and she encouraged the parents to just spend quality time with their children, and she lived that out. Even if she was busy because she was a working mom, a single one at that. She gave time, attention, and space for us. She was intentional about that. That's why I have a lot of memories, especially during the weekends, where we just have snacks together and just talk at the dining table. And we've carried that until now, and that's how we've stayed close even as grown children to our mother, because she was intentional about giving us time. And that's something that I learned from her, and I intentionally embraced that in my own motherhood journey as well. And much of how a mother has been impacted and influenced by how my mother um, mothered me, for sure. It all shows up in how I mother right now. And that's my point, that our parents especially our mothers, um, have a great influence on us, and us as mothers also onto our children. So the greater question is, what kind of legacy are we leaving behind? So that's the heart of this chapter. So um, I quoted from um, the Proverbs 31 woman in Proverbs. Okay, so the woman who fears the Lord. So there are three main things that I want to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman legacy. Okay, so let me read that part. The Proverbs 31 woman was a woman of godly influence who left a lasting legacy for her children. Her life offers us a powerful example to follow as we seek to leave our own families a legacy of faith. So, number one, the legacy of marriage. So, the passage begins with a question: an excellent wife who can find. So, this just gives us a hint that this woman um, took her role seriously, both as a wife and a mother. And the foundation of her mothering is her marriage. So this tells us that her ability to bless her children begins with being a blessing to her husband. She honors her marriage by giving it her best, her excellence. She was an excellent wife, as we can understand from the opening line of the passage, an excellent wife. She is trustworthy in every way, building a foundation of love, faithfulness, and integrity in her home. And that's so true. You know, our children's first ideas about love and marriage, devotion, commitment, um, is heavily influenced by how they see us, their parents, our marriage, as husband and wife, how we regard our husbands, and vice versa. So, yes, the legacy of marriage. So I think this is a good question that we have to be always asking ourselves when our children look at our marriages. What what do our marriages say about God, say about love, and say about their own future marriage as well? So they're watching us. And as I've said, their first ideas around commitment, loyalty, devotion, love, marriage will be heavily influenced by how they see their parents, us, as husbands and wives. Number two, the legacy of home. Verse 27 tells us she looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. From beginning to end, this passage reveals a woman who faithfully tends to her home. As mothers, as wives, as homemakers, we are the keepers of our homes. And keep is such a beautiful, sweet, lovely word. We are the guardians of our homes. We tend to our homes, as Proverbs 31 women, we tend to our homes faithfully. Not perfectly, and that's what I'm learning, that to be gracious to us, to my family, to me, to myself as the main homemaker, to just be gracious, because this is real life. This is real life. There are, I think I've set so many expectations of myself when it comes to just fulfilling my roles. And um, it's good to have a direction, to have goals, but our goals should be founded in the reality of grace also, because as a type A personality, I tend to be very productivity driven and goal oriented, and sometimes I get frustrated when I don't get things done in the time period that I want them to be done, and how my plans, don't pan the way that I envision them. And it's just so humbling, and just goes to show how I'm in need of grace every day to run and keep this household of faith. So, yes, she meets the needs of her household with diligence and devotion, ministering to her family through her hard work and care. She creates a home that is not only well managed but filled with love and warmth. Yes, we pursue excellence, but on the basis of grace. Okay, so this is not performative homemaking. It's rooted in love. Um, that means to say that we're gracious. Okay, I've been repeating grace a lot because that's where I'm at. There's so many humbling realizations that I've been experiencing along the way. 5 years into this journey of homemaking. Yeah, I've added we've added one member and after another, and our responsibilities just grow. So, yeah, there are many rooms for improvement and many areas where we need to be gracious. So that's just it. And then the legacy of wisdom. In verse 26, we read, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. Um, by the way, there's this word that I've been pondering upon the past week. It says that God does not does not is God is not waiting for you to impress him. He already knows. He already knows the reality of our situations, our hearts, our homes, and he doesn't want us to impress him. He just wants us to go to him, as children, diligently seeking him, and he's so ready to father us. So no, he's not looking for perfection, especially those expectations that we have set for ourselves. And sometimes, well, often, more often than not, especially at least for me, they're really unrealistic expectations, especially that I have two babies, I'm working online, and I'm managing a business, I'm supporting my husband in the ministry. So there are just so many things that I miss. But I've learned that I just have to be faithful in what God has entrusted to me. I just have to be faithful to this calling, and just understand, that I will not be a perfect mother, but to be a repentant one. So if I do miss something, if I do, make a mistake, and as the sinfulness of my heart gets revealed, um I just have to repent. And I think my even the need to appear perfect, the need to appear impressive, that's something that I have to repent of. And and thank God, right, for his fresh and new grace and mercy that are new every morning, that are steadfast, because we are in need of it every single day and every single moment. So yeah, I hope that gives you, you know permission to not be impressive, but to just be faithful, to be faithful. The Proverbs 31 woman is wise and measured in her words. She does not speak gossip, um, slander. What else is here? Sidla. Or idle talk, but with grace and kindness that edifies others. As mothers, we are called to be a source of godly wisdom for our children, pointing them toward the ultimate source of wisdom, God Himself. Let us walk in her footsteps and build legacies that glorify God and bless generations to come. And I have a lot of, I think, misconceptions about being a Proverbs 31 woman, because in my head, this woman was like a mythical creature. Like, her strength does not run out, and whatever she does, she just does it perfectly. And I've just wrestling with this passage. What if, as I've said, she doesn't have everything figured out as well? She's like me, um who just desperately needs God in every mothering moment. And I think, she's not the perfect wife, a perfect wife or a perfect mother, but she's a faithful one, and that just changes everything. We can pursue diligence without performance, but from a place of identity, from a place of dependence on the Lord, from a place of grace and mercy, we can do these things as unto the Lord, as an overflow of what we have first received from Him, and not from, as I've said, not from a place of performance because we want to earn something from God, or we want to impress Him. I think when there are moments that we break down as mothers and wives, I think God's more pleased with a broken and contrite spirit than an impressive one. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and see you in the next one.